I'm really into motor racing, especially Formula One. It really is one of the most glamorous and exciting sports. Of course, it's one of the fastest. I'm amazed by the speed of the cars and how skillful the drivers are. I'd love to drive a Formula One car to see how fast they go. People say Formula One is a man's sport. It is. I know lots of women who love it. One day there'll be a female world champion. You wait. I got into Formula One years ago. I loved the names of all the drivers. I watched a few Grands Prix on TV and then I was hooked. I never miss a race on TV. One day I'd really like to go to a circuit and watch a Grand Prix live. I guess Monaco would be best. They drive through the streets there. I'm not sure how many people ever stop to think how wonderful 4 seasons are. I think people who live in cities don't care about the seasons. City people spend half their lives indoors or underground. I live in the country and I love watching the seasons come and go. Every day is different in the countryside. I love watching the crops grow in the fields. I watch them push their way up from the ground in the spring and then grow tall in the summer sun. Just before autumn arrives, the farmer harvests them and then winter comes. Seasons means it's like living in a new place every 4 months. Everything changes. One wonderful thing about seasons is the seasonal food you get. There's always something tasty that's just come in season. Freedom is a funny thing. It seems to mean different things in different countries. People in my country say they have freedom, but I don't think so. We have to go to school, we have to pay tax, we have to work, we have to do lots of things. That's not freedom. I'd say we have more freedom than people in other countries. There are many countries in the world where people are like slaves. They can't leave the country, can't get a passport, and have to work 16 hours a day. I wonder what a society would be like if everyone was totally free to do anything they wanted. It would probably be a total mess. No one would work. I suppose freedom means having some rules to follow. Someone once told me that French fries are not French. There must be some connection between fries and France, otherwise they wouldn't be called French fries. Wherever they are from, I love them. I guess they're the most popular food in the world. Everyone eats French fries. They are very versatile, you can eat them with so many things. You can even have a French fries sandwich. People put all sorts of things on top of French fries. I love ketchup and mayonnaise on my fries, both together. You have to have salt. The only time I don't like fries is when they are cold. I get angry if I get fries that aren't hot in a fast food restaurant. I take them back immediately. All of this talk of French fries has made me want to eat some. I think I have the greatest friends in the world. They are just as important to me as family. In fact, they are my family, really. My best friends and I all grew up together and shared so many experiences together. We know everything about each other. I would do anything for my friends, and I'm sure they'd do anything for me. I'm sure there's nothing in the world that could stop us from being friends. I've also made lots of other good friends from university and the different places I've worked. They are also important to me. We are now all over the world and it's sometimes difficult to meet each other, but we stay in touch. One day I'd like to get all of my friends together for a big party. That'd be great fun. Frustration is a terrible thing. In fact, it's a frustrating thing. Getting frustrated is one of life's biggest frustrations. I wish I didn't get frustrated, but there are so many things in life that are frustrating. I think the biggest thing recently is computers. Getting a new computer out of the box can be frustrating. Understanding how everything works is doubly frustrating. And then there are all the frustrations with programs that freeze, web pages that don't open, and things you lose. I wonder why we get so frustrated. I think we could do things better if we relaxed and did everything slowly. I wonder if animals and birds get frustrated. I'm sure a lot of the things we humans do causes them a lot of frustration. Everybody wants to have fun. Life would be so boring if fun was taken away. There are so many things you can do for fun. The best thing, I think, is simply to be with your friends. You'll always have a fun time with them. I can't remember the most fun I've ever had. I had loads of fun times when I was a kid. It seemed as though life was all fun except for homework. But university was also a lot of fun. I'd love to do all that again. I'm not sure if I'd call working fun. There's not much fun in sitting at a desk and trying to please your boss. Weekends are fun though. I always try to have as much fun as I can at the weekend. Having fun is the best way to relieve the stress that builds up during the week. If I could, I'd never go to another funeral again. No one likes funerals, of course, but for me they make me so sad. I can't stop crying. Quite often I'm the only person crying. Everything about a funeral makes me cry. When I open the invitation, tears well up in my eyes. When I see the funeral procession drive by, I start. The actual ceremony is almost unbearable. I have never learnt to control my sobs. If you hear someone sniffing non-stop, that's me. The music at funerals is unnecessarily sad. I've told my friends I want salsa music at my funeral. And I don't want people to wear black. I also hope the party after the funeral isn't a sad occasion. People should laugh and remember the funny times. I have a passion for furniture. I love it. I particularly love antique furniture. I love going round old houses and looking at all the beautiful sofas and chests and cabinets from hundreds of years ago. Making furniture used to be a real art. They don't make furniture like they used to. Nowadays a lot of furniture is rubbish. A lot of it you have to make yourself. Actually, I quite like that. I like wandering around IKEA and seeing what they have. You can pay extra to have the guys assemble your furniture for you, but I like doing it myself. I'm studying interior design and would like to start my own furniture workshop one day. I'll mix modern ideas with traditional ones. I'd like to start a trend for green furniture that helps the environment. Gambling is a very dangerous thing. At least that's what I think. I don't think much good comes of it. People lose their money and then get angry. Sometimes people lose everything they have. The only people who win are the companies, casinos, etc. that organize gambling. I don't really understand why people would want to risk their money. Most of the time they lose it. The odds are always against you. Gambling causes so many social problems, I'm surprised governments allow it. In some countries it is illegal to gamble. This is good. I never understand why people gamble again and again. They must get fed up with throwing their money away. I suppose they always think the next one will be the one they make a lot of money. Gangs are becoming a big problem in many countries around the world. We've always had gangs and they've always created problems. Recently, things seem to be getting out of control. Gangs are taking over our streets. In many parts of South America, gangs kill because of drugs. In many parts of Europe, gangs hang around on street corners and hassle anyone who walks by. There's a lot of pressure for young people to join a gang. If a young person doesn't join a gang, they might be bullied at school. The government always says gangs are a problem, but they never do anything about it. I was in a gang when I was younger. It's scary when I look back on it. We used to have lots of fights and do many bad things. I never had a knife. When I was a kid, I thought gangsters were really cool. I loved watching gangster movies. Al Capone was almost like a hero to me. I always wanted the gangster in the movie to escape from the police. The movies made gangsters look like heroes. Now I'm older, I think that's shocking. How can they glamorize the life of gangsters? Of course, we all know gangsters are dangerous. They are involved in many crimes. They sell drugs, traffic children, and run prostitution rings. Many gangsters control politicians and policemen. In fact, in many countries around the world, gangsters become politicians. The funny thing is, even now when I look at gangster movies, I still think the gangster is the good guy. That's a little worrying. Everybody should take up gardening as a hobby. We can all get back to nature. Thousands of years ago, we all did a bit of gardening. It's one of the most relaxing hobbies I can think of. It's also very satisfying. I get very excited about gardening. I love planting seeds and then letting nature take over. It's amazing how quickly things grow. Before you know it, your seeds are beautiful flowers. You also learn a lot about flowers, vegetables, shrubs, and trees. Of course, gardening is also very practical. If you grow vegetables, you can eat what you grow. Vegetables picked fresh from your garden really do taste better than the ones in the shops. Gardening is good for you. It makes you feel part of the earth. I really like walking around gardens. Every garden is different. Even two gardens that are next to each other are different. I loved the garden our family had when I was small. I also loved starting my own garden when I bought my house. The best gardens in the world are in England. English country gardens are famous all over the world. The gardeners are like artists. It's amazing how they make everything so perfect and so colourful. I can sit in or walk through an English garden all day. I also like Japanese gardens. They also have a very special feel about them. Everything is so perfect and you feel really peaceful. I'd like to spend my life visiting different gardens. I think the idea of genetic engineering is fascinating. It's also quite dangerous. Fiddling around with what makes us human might make us less human. We could end up creating a Frankenstein's monster. The idea of genetic engineering has been around for centuries. Scientists have always wanted to change us. The real breakthrough came in the latter half of last century. Geneticists cracked the genetic code and found ways of altering our genes. Now they can clone animals and reproduce human tissue and organs. I don't think it'll be too long before scientists clone a person. Once all the fuss has died down, younger generations will be more accepting of genetic engineering. We might even live to be 200 years old. I really don't understand why genocide happens. Every 5 or 10 years we hear about the latest genocide. Every time we hear about it, governments say it will never happen again. After the genocide in Rwanda, The USA and other world powers promised to stop any future killing. Then Darfur came along and all they do is talk. If a crazy government wants to kill thousands of innocent civilians, no one can stop them. Genocide is the biggest shame in our history. Countries go to war because of oil, but not to stop innocent people being murdered. Only recently has the international community started chasing those who organize genocide. The International Criminal Court prosecutes those who commit crimes against humanity. One of the busiest times of our life must be our wedding day. Getting married can be a very stressful time, but it is also one of the happiest days in our life. It all begins with the proposal. After that comes setting the date. Once the couple know the wedding day, it's planning, and planning. They have to decide where to get married, who to invite, what kind of flowers, where to have the reception, and 1,000,001 other things. Getting married can be a very expensive occasion. Some parents save all their lives to pay for their son's or daughter's wedding. Getting married seems to be similar all over the world. The happy couple make some vows in front of their guests, and then there is a big party after. Global warming is the biggest problem in the world today. Everyone knows about it, but not everyone is trying to stop it. Many world leaders are more interested in blaming other countries for the crisis. Countries like China, India and Russia say they will not act unless America takes more action. America says it will not act until other countries take more action. It seems a little childish that leaders are acting in this way. The future of our world is at risk and governments can only argue with each other. Many presidents and prime ministers tell us that technology is the answer. They say future scientists will find solutions to save the planet. This is a big gamble. I hope they are right. I don't believe them, so I'll continue switching off lights and recycling. What does globalization mean? We always hear this word on TV and read about it in newspapers. It means the world is now a village, the global village. The world has become smaller. Of course, the world did not shrink and it isn't a village. Because of better transport, the internet and more trading between countries, it is easier to do business. Japanese car makers have factories in Thailand. American computer companies employ thousands of people in China. That's globalization. And don't forget the millions of call center jobs in India that workers in America and Europe used to do. Globalization also means it is easier to work in another country. Is globalization a good or bad thing? That's a difficult question to answer. God created us all. God created life. God created everything around us. I often try to think what was before God, but God has always been there, so there was nothing before God. I wonder why God always appears as a man with a beard in books. He's also usually a white man. No one knows if God is a man or a woman. God is also different to different religions. Most people in the world pray to God. They ask for forgiveness when they do something wrong. They thank God for bringing good things and ask for God's help when things go wrong. People who believe in God get strength from their belief. They know that God is looking down on them. One thing I don't understand is why there is so much killing and bad things in the world. I don't understand the fascination with gold. It's just a soft metal. It isn't even the most valuable metal. It's interesting how almost every culture in the world loves gold. Indians spend a fortune on it. When their children get married, they give gold bracelets and rings as gifts. Most of the world's wedding rings are gold. I know different countries prefer different types of gold. In Thailand, only 24 carat is good enough, but in England, people buy a lot of 9-carat gold. It seems like we have always loved gold. Think how many stories there are from hundreds of years ago about gold treasure. In fact, if you go back further, Egyptian kings and queens had lots of gold. I'll never forget Tutankhamun's mask. The gold in that was really golden. Golden Week is such a lovely time to be in Japan. The weather is great and everyone is relaxed. There's a real holiday feeling all over the country. It's one of my favorite times of the year. The only downside is that the roads are full of traffic. You can spend hours stuck in traffic jams, so I usually stay at home and do things near my house. I love going on picnics in local parks. I'm English, so I find it really interesting to see how Japanese people have picnics. Very different from picnics in England. Many people have the whole week off work to celebrate the different holidays. The Emperor's birthday and Constitution Day are important, and so is Greenery Day, but I like Children's Day. This is when Japanese parents do special things for their kids. What was life like before Google? This might look like a silly and strange question, but it is a good one. Google has changed our lives. In an amazingly short space of time, the verb Google has entered our language. I think everything about Google is amazing. It helps us so much. We can find any information we want just by typing in what we want in the search box. I even like the Google home page, it's so simple. You know, I can't remember the last time a day went by when I didn't use Google for something. I wonder what Google will be like in the future. Only those at Google know. The strange thing about the internet is that something we don't even know about yet might come along and totally replace Google overnight. I hate gossip. It really gets on my nerves. I really don't understand why people gossip about other people. My office is full of gossips. They have nothing better to do. Surely there are more important things to talk about. Gossip isn't true, that's why it's gossip. Okay, it might be true, but who cares? Gossiping is dangerous. It can make perfectly nice people look bad. I'm not sure if I've been the subject of gossip. I'm sure I wouldn't like it if I was. I have some friends who buy gossip magazines. They love celebrity gossip. That's even worse than office gossip. At least with office gossip you know the people. Anytime someone comes to me to tell me the latest piece of juicy gossip or hot gossip, I tell them I'm not interested. Grammar. Why is English grammar so confusing? I studied grammar for many years at school and I still don't understand when to use a tense. Is it the simple present or the present perfect? What's the difference? My teacher tells me to keep visiting grammar websites and doing the practice activities. She told me to look for patterns, but I'm not really sure what she means. She also told me one of the best ways to learn grammar is to read for pleasure. She said that way I'll keep seeing good grammar and it will slowly come to me. I think the best way to learn grammar is to write and let my teacher point out my mistakes. Do you have any good tips on how to learn grammar? Gun control should be a really serious issue. In my country, politicians rarely talk about it. They only discuss it if someone goes nuts and shoots lots of people in a school or shopping mall. Gun crime is on the increase everywhere, but the government never talks about gun control. I really think there should be huge fines for anyone caught with a gun. Too many innocent people are dying. The situation will only get worse. I think if a politician stands up and argues for any kind of gun control, he or she will win the next election. I'm sure most people think controlling or banning guns in societies is very important. Unless you live in America, I'm not sure if gun control exists there. It seems everyone has a gun. Guns are bad, full stop. I'm fed up hearing about people who think they have a right to carry a gun. A gun is a deadly weapon. People who are for guns say people are the deadly ones. That's stupid. The truth is that if there were no guns in the world, there'd be more people alive. Students with guns kill other students at school. No guns, no deaths. Guns are used in millions of crimes around the world. Gun crime is out of control in many countries. The societies in which guns are illegal have very little gun crime. The problem is that guns aren't going away. They are getting easier to buy. Now that many international borders are open, smuggling guns to other countries is easy. Maybe the whole world will return to the Wild West. 10 years ago the word hacking didn't mean much to anyone. I think it meant cutting something very roughly. Now we all need to be aware of hacking. It is a big problem. Hacking has turned into a major crime. Hackers are stealing people's identities, money, personal information and using them illegally. Hackers are also breaking into top-secret government computers to steal classified information. Many spies are using hackers to get the information they want. Many people say the next world war will be fought by hackers in cyberspace. You really need to be careful what information you put online. It's also really important to keep your security up to date on your computer. You need the latest firewalls and antivirus software. I never know what to do with my hair. Sometimes I want it long, sometimes I want to cut it all off. My hair is a little unmanageable, it never does what I want it to, it's very thick. When it's long and I have lots of split ends, so I have to go to the hairdresser for a trim. I also have dandruff, which is a little embarrassing when I wear dark sweaters. I don't often have a bad hair day. This usually only happens when I have to meet someone important. My hair sticks out all over the place, I hate it. I always think everyone is looking at me, or looking at my misbehaving hair. I often wonder what it would be like if we had no hair, if we were all bald. We could save lots of money on shampoos and conditioners. I wonder how many times we have our hair cut in our life. Hundreds. It would also be interesting to know how many different hairstyles we have. I know the styles I had when I was younger would look silly today. I really like haircuts. It's interesting sitting in the hairdresser's chair and watching the stylist do things. I often think a good haircut is like art and the hairdresser is the artist. I have had a few disastrous haircuts, usually when they cut too much off. I need a long fringe because my face is a strange shape. The best thing I like about haircuts is having a chat to the hairdresser. He or she can usually talk about anything and everything. I also like the smell of everything when I'm sitting in the chair. I'm English, so I don't know a lot about Halloween. I knew from when I was a kid that it was an American thing that involved pumpkins. Then I found out about trick or treat and wearing costumes. I loved the idea of dressing up in scary costumes and walking around the streets. Another early memory I have is watching the horror movie, Halloween, round my friend's house on video. I remember being scared to walk back home that night. The first time I took part in Halloween was at a school party in Japan. I shaved my head, covered it in white face paint, and wrapped myself from head to toe in toilet paper. Riding a train to Osaka for the party dressed as a mummy was great fun. I still need to find out more about the history of Halloween though. Hands are interesting things, they can do so many things, we'd be lost without them. I think hands are one of the most useful parts of the body, they are so clever, we can do so many different things with our hands. We can hold things, squeeze things, feel things. We can swing on jungle gyms, write and type letters, the list is endless. I think hands are a very beautiful part of the body if they are well looked after. It's interesting to see how many different parts there are to our hands. We have a palm, fingers, knuckles, lifelines, fingertips and the back of our hand. There are lots of good things you can do with your hands. I like holding hands, of course, with my wife and children. A hangover is one of the worst feelings you can have. There's nothing you can do to make it go away, you just have to wait for it to wear off. It usually takes a whole day and can even take 2 days to disappear. The most stupid thing about a hangover is that you never learn. A hangover is your body's warning that too much alcohol is bad for you. When something is painful, you never do it again. Not so with a hangover. When people have a hangover, they often drink again the next day. This makes your original hangover much worse. Many people have their own hangover cure. None of them work for me, all I can do is suffer. I suppose the best thing for a hangover is not to drink at all, or at least not drink too much. Happiness is sitting on a beach with a good book and no more work and studying for a year. If only. What's your idea of happiness? It's such an important thing. I like Bhutan's idea. Bhutan is the small country next to Nepal. There they prefer to measure happiness instead of money. The most important thing for Bhutan's government is how happy the people are. What a fantastic idea this is. Imagine if governments focused on making us all happy. They could spend money on beaches and free ice cream instead of fighting wars. I looked at everyone on the train this morning. No one looked happy. Maybe the news should be full of happy stories instead of the usual doom and gloom. Harry Potter is a boy wizard who has taken over the world. He is everywhere. No one had heard of Harry Potter before 1997. That's when J.K. Rowling published her first book. She's the creator of Harry Potter. The first novel was called Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and it became an amazing success. Everyone was talking about it and Harry became an overnight phenomenon. 6 more Harry Potter books followed and they all became bestsellers. People went crazy over every new book. My friends waited overnight outside a bookstore to make sure they got their copy of the latest book. My friends are 40 years old. Harry Potter is now a global industry, with movies and merchandise of all kinds. It's amazing how big he is. Hate crime is becoming a big problem in many societies. You'd think that in the 21st century we'd all respect each other. With all the communications we have and with globalization, we should know enough about each other to understand we are all the same. We should at least be able to respect our differences. I blame the media for a lot of hate crime. They are very good at highlighting particular groups of people and casting them in a negative light. Just look at what's happened since the 9/11 attacks in New York. Hate has increased in the world and the media seems to fuel this. I'm glad I live in a country that has laws against hate crime. They don't always work, but at least it's better than in most countries. I never used to worry about my health until recently. When I was a kid, I did loads of exercise. Even in my 20s and 30s, I was very fit and never ill. I have been lucky all my life, always in the best of health. I rarely get even a cold. I suppose time catches up with you. Now I seem to be getting lots of little aches and pains. I should go to the doctor for a health check, but I'm too busy. The older you get, the more you worry about your health. One good thing is that I'm eating more healthily now than ever before. I no longer have fast food and midnight snacks. I also sleep a lot more. I've read that getting 7 or 8 hours sleep every night is one of the best things you can do for your health. Every country must provide free healthcare to its citizens. I can't understand why the richest countries in the world don't do this. It's shocking that a country can be so rich and let its people die because they cannot pay the hospital. I saw a great movie once on America's healthcare system. It's called Sicko, directed by Michael Moore. He went to England and France and was amazed that people in those countries didn't have to pay when they went to hospital. He then went to Cuba. He went with lots of Americans who couldn't afford healthcare in America. Amazingly, the Cuban hospitals treated them all for free and gave them medicine. They were so happy. I'm sure there's enough money in the world to provide everyone with free healthcare. The heart is one organ we really have to look after. Most of us, I think, don't really know how to look after it, or perhaps we know but don't do enough to keep our heart in a healthy condition. Our heart is an amazing thing when you think about it. It beats so fast for years and years and years, pumping millions of liters of blood around our body. It keeps working, even though we do so many bad things to it. It really is the source of our life. We need to promise our heart every day that we'll look after it properly. I think kids born today are lucky. Modern medicine and science will soon have all the answers to keep our heart strong. Even today we're lucky. Doctors can replace your heart via a heart transplant. Heart attacks kill millions of people each year. I think it's one of the world's biggest killers. A lot of people have a heart attack because of their lifestyle. I'm sure if people ate healthy food and exercised, the number of heart attacks would drop. The thing I worry about is stress. For me, it's difficult to avoid. Research shows that stress is one of the biggest causes of heart attacks. The problem with this is that you get stressed, and then you worry about your heart, which makes it beat faster and gives you more stress, which then makes your heart beat even faster. Best not to get stressed. There are so many things you can do in life to reduce your chances of a heart attack. I think we need more information. I wonder if heaven exists. I guess if heaven is real, then hell must be real too. I think heaven must be a great place if it's better than earth. It's difficult to believe that heaven is a place that looks like paradise. Pretty much every religion in the world believes that heaven is real. I don't think it's full of angels with wings though. I think there are lots of heavenly places on earth. Anywhere in the countryside is heaven to me. Sitting on a beach with blue skies is also heaven. You can even be in heaven in the city. Walking into a cool, air-conditioned building from a hot, sweaty street is heaven. I also find heaven in food. A double chocolate fudge and nut ice cream with maple syrup and extra whipped cream is simply heaven. I don't really have a hero. There are many people I respect, but they are not really my hero. Some people choose very strange heroes. My friends have rock stars and football players as heroes. Of course, these people are very good at what they do, but they're not really heroes. They get lots of money for doing what they love. When they're not singing or playing football, I wonder what they're doing. I think most of the world's heroes are unsung heroes. People who work to help others every day. We generally don't notice these heroes. Then there are those who put their lives on the line for others. Firefighters, police officers and soldiers are heroes. Without them, the world would be less safe.